peanut butter fudge. Nothing says I care like fudge. Why? Because it takes forever to make and it's really difficult. Or is it? The software could not be simpler. You're going to need 2 sticks. That's 224 grams total of unsalted butter. You're going to need 1 cup. It's 260 grams of peanut butter. More on that in a second. You'll need 455 grams of confectioner sugar, powdered sugar. That's 3 3/4 cups by volume, but you're going to weigh it. And last but not least, 5 little milliliters or 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. For those of you that are wondering what kind of peanut butter, well, Jif. No, they do not pay me to say that. I've just loved this stuff most of my life and will eat it by the spoonful. Yeah, if you want to use Skippy, which I've never been a fan of, or Peter Pan, which I don't like either, they're pretty much the same. What you can't use is the all-natural stuff. I know some of you want to, but look, if the oil separates out of it like that, you can't use it. We really do need things like fully hydrogenated oils and apparently a small amount of mono and diglycerides. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's good for you, but it's Christmas. Live with it, okay? The 2 sticks of butter go into a large microwave safe mixing bowl. Notice please, I'm just using regular old grocery store butter, Land O'Lakes in this case. Don't use fancy stuff like Kerrygold because the water percentage isn't right for something like this. Besides, we're using Jif for God's sakes. Speaking of, right into the bowl. And yeah, I know what that looks like, but just, come on, let's not be a kid. Cover with plastic wrap. And then poke a few holes in the top to let out air and steam as they expand. This all goes into the microwave, and you are going to nuke it on high for 2 minutes. No, I can't leave the camera in here. It's not good eats for God's sakes. Right here I have an 8-inch metal pan. You could use a dish if you want. It's non-stick, but I am still going to lube it up just by rubbing a little butter on it. I keep a stick in the fridge just for this sort of thing. And make sure you get up onto the sides. There. Hopefully you can still see that. Then I have cut a piece of parchment paper just wide enough to fit into the bottom of the pan. Actually, scoot it over a little, like that. You want it to be long enough so that these edges hang over. We're going to use that to lift the fudge out after it sets. There. All right, things are going to be pretty hot, so make sure you've got something to safely handle the bowl with. The goal now is simply to stir all of this together to combine, and then we're going to microwave it again. Exciting. There we go. The emulsifiers that are no doubt in this peanut butter probably help. You're going to want to lick that. I wouldn't at this point. We cover and microwave for another 2 minutes on high. Oh heck, I can't microwave my phone. This mixture is obviously hot as the dickens by now with all that fat, way over the boiling point of water. So very carefully remove the plastic wrap. Try to do it kind of away from you in case there is any steam. Hopefully there won't be because you poked holes, right? Okay, now all of a sudden we're gonna add all of the powdered sugar. Make sure you do this with your face back. You don't have to do this sitting on the floor. I don't know, I just kind of like to. And carefully work that in as quickly as you can. And it's about halfway in, I guess. Now I'm going to add the 1 teaspoon of the vanilla extract. No more. 1 teaspoon's all we need. There we go. Now this is going to get pretty tight pretty fast, and that's okay as we work in all of that sugar. It's a lot of it. Now, this is the part that's usually super tricky when you're making real fudge, but when you're cheating like this with peanut butter, this can be a lot easier. There, that's what that looks like. Okay, off to the pan. As soon as you bring the fudge together into a nice, warm, homogeneous mass, get it into the pan, and odds are you're gonna need another tool for smoothing this out. And I like going with just this little offset spatula, one of my favorite multitaskers. Great. Once you have the fudge panned up, you're gonna refrigerate it. The last thing before that is smooth that parchment paper over to cover. It's not gonna probably completely meet, and that's fine. That'll help smooth the top even more. I'd leave this in here for 2 hours. If the fudge doesn't lift out right away, just let it sit at room temperature for a few minutes. Or if you're in a big hurry, kind of float it over one of your Christmas candles and don't pretend you don't have any. It doesn't take a lot of heat, just a little to release it. There, now since this is an 8x8 square, the best thing for cutting would be a 10-inch minimum chef's knife. We want a knife that's just a little bit longer than the candy is wide. Right, this stuff is pretty powerful, so I'm actually going to go 8 cuts in each direction across the X and Y axes so that I get 64 pieces. This is a 6-inch diameter tin, so I'm going to make sure that I've got 3 6-inch discs of parchment paper to layer. That way it looks a lot neater. Presentation is important. So one of the sheets goes in the bottom, and then start stacking in the fudge, and put your ugly pieces on the bottom. Nobody will notice. Try to make sure the pieces don't touch because they will stick together. All right, put on the next piece of parchment, and now it's time for the presentation layer. So try to pick up the pieces of fudge from the sides so you don't get thumbprints at the top. And so there, now you give this tin to a friend, and they open it up and they go, what could be in here? Oh my gosh, it's fudge. You must have worked for hours and hours and hours on this. Let me taste it. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. Thank you so much. Oh, it's okay. It weren't nothing. Merry Christmas.